All right, everybody, welcome to another exciting operator meetup of JETvarnish operators. Today, we have the chance to be talking about a very fun subject, a very delicate subject. I think a subject that most people who do it well make a lot of money with it, and most people are afraid to even, kind of get into it. And basically, that is the beautiful word of variable data foil. How are you guys doing, everybody?
Doing great.
Good.
Awesome. Very good. So listen, I thought we'd kind of kick this off as Matt, you're the host, so I'm going to kind of let you lead the discussion, but let's have a fun discussion about variable data. Matt, why don't you kick us off and tell us why do you think a lot of people use it correctly or don't use it correctly, and kind of what are some of the tips and tricks that you've found to work?
Well, there's really no using it incorrectly because it's either going to work or it's not going to work. There's like one particular way to set it up and use it. And if you miss a step or forget a detail, then obviously it's not going to work. But once you get all of your sequences correct, you get all of your thought process in order, you apply it to the sequence of the events you have to create in order for it to happen, to get it over to this machine,
Right,
and then access those files on the machine. It works beautifully. Just the biggest trick or tip I could possibly muster to offer is that you just have to stay relaxed about it, because there's a lot of steps involved, and just missing one little detail can throw a wrench into the whole system.
yeah,
Much.
that's a good point. Jacob, tell me, you've run many variable data jobs or not so much?
I think actually the whole time we've had the machine here, even before I was here, they haven't run a single variable data job. They've been offered a couple, but every time we have a chance to do one, yeah, it's kind of like what Matt was saying, where everybody starts really freaking out. They don't know really what it's going to be like.
Well, that's a big part of it. That's why we're having these discussions, because look, I've been doing a lot of these interviews and I've been doing a lot of consulting with people who are doing embellishments. And the ones I found that are very successful have been able to tap into variable and into the invitation market. So like managing that variable with the direct mail has really found to be a really, really cool niche. So really, I think that's one of the things that we need to demystify. And oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Like, what are the applications for variable? Like, what are you seeing? Oh, yeah. So, oh, nice. Yeah, that looks good, Matt. Yeah. Oh, are we comparing samples? Because we can do that all day long, buddy. I got. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
Invitations.
There it is.
There we go. Invitations, table tents, in anything. Certificates.
Yeah, certificates is a big one for the university sector. So a couple of really cool uses of variable data, and before we get into the technical side of it, that I've seen is in bespoke packaging. So here, this is a bottle of Veuve Clicquot champagne, and you can see my name in foil, which I thought was kind of cool. Nice. Then we're starting to see some more elevated versions of this stuff, where we're seeing foil on top of foil. I don't know if you guys can see that. You guys might know him. And one of the big applications I've seen, has been in the school sector. So when you're recruiting an athlete to come play for your school, for example, in the university sector, we're seeing a lot of use of variable data foil so that the athletes feel very special, that they're being, if I get I think I saw a BYU piece where if you open it up, and you would actually see a jersey and the person's name embossed in gold on the back of that jersey. And they're like, come play for us. That was really one of the coolest recruiting pieces. So we've seen a lot of that. What other kind of things have you guys seen, Carlo or Jacob, in terms of good applications?
The one recently we were thinking about doing was actually trading cards, where they had variable data numbers on the cards.
Yeah. Yeah, serialization for limited edition runs, I think, is a really cool way to do it, and that's relatively simple from a setup standpoint. Matt, what's the process that you use to set up a variable data job? Like, just walk
I,
us through your
I
your
might
whole.
I might just add another note to what you were just mentioning of applications that you've seen. I've seen it, and I got it recently on a record album cover, which was sequential numbering in gold for the number of where that pressing was for that vinyl LP, where it was in the run, what number it was in the run, and that was pretty unique because that means a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's cool.
variable data, I mean, you start with a spreadsheet, just like anything else. It can be an Excel spreadsheet, Access, whatever. Basically, you need a comma delimited or a text delimited file. You need everything in nice, neat columns, name, first name, last name, any relevant information that's going to go on that piece. It's all going to be a PDF workflow. So whatever document you create needs to end up as a PDF. There's other systems in place. I know that we used it through the Fiery. We generate out of, I can't remember the name of the program. It's an Acrobat, or it's an InDesign add-on. And you develop generate a PPTX file, which was then just one file that when it was ripped, kept replicating and replicating
Right.
and replicating in the run, during the run,
Right.
with each new name, rather than the PDF workflow, which we have to use in this case with these machines, with the Caldera RIP, which generates one file with all these PDF pages. Each one is completely individualized, and then they get sent to RIP, and then that TIFF file is generated. So you have to be aware of the system that you're using, what you're used to using, what you might have to shift into becoming to use, which is the true PDF workflow, which some people do and don't like, but that unfortunately you're going to be required to use that. You're also going to be required to use a specific font, because you have to provide this machine behind me with a barcode. And that's what makes this whole process true variable data, because you could have a stack of sheets pre-printed, of course, and each one of those can be different. They can have different content on them as well, different background imaging, different whatever. And because that barcode is assigned to that sheet, then by the time whatever gets embellished on top of it here at this machine, it doesn't matter if you mix those sheets all up either. You can completely shuffle the deck, and it will still know what image to put on top as an embellishment on top of what image is on that page based on that correct barcode. So that takes a lot of guesswork out of it. That way, if you have a redo, one sheet doesn't quite work as well, then all you have to do is reprint that sheet, stick it back in the machine, it reads that barcode, it pulls the correct overlay with the correct name or whatever your variable information is in that case, and puts it where it's supposed to go without even, you don't have to think. If you want to think about the whole process, because when you open a file in the JVTI, basically you have this page and that page, but each page is a file, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each page is a separate TIFF file. So you open that one and you print it, and then you open the next one and you print it, and you open the next one and you print it. They're all separate things. Each one has a separate setup. Each one has, you can copy and paste your job ticket from one to the next, but each one is a separate setup. So what variable data really does, it simplifies the whole process into becoming more like a multi-page document. Whereas if you were to take a 35-page Word document and send it to the printer, and it just prints all 35 pages in succession.
Yeah.
So in that respect, that's based on a very basic level what variable data is here. You open one file, it has all these numbered images in it, and then it just prints them one after the other, after the other, after the other. Once that camera gets the cue with the correct barcode, it sends it on through and applies it.
It seems like a lot of a lot of the key is in pre-press, and when it comes to variable data jobs, like how that data is created, how that file is created. Jacob, in your case, I think because you're a finisher, right? You don't do any printing. It's even trickier because you can't necessarily print the barcode on those variable data. You'd actually have to be part of that discussion before they printed the job, so that you could send them the barcodes or have them send you the data to be able to do that variable data. Am I correct on that, Jacob?
Yeah, I would say that's why we probably don't end up doing variable data most of the times, because we'd have to plan ahead with them
Yeah.
and plan how we're going to do it before it ever even gets printed.
Right.
And if we have one sheet or a couple that don't do very well, then we don't actually, we'd have to wait for however long it takes for the new sheets to get here.
So that's a good point, Matt. Matt, what do you do if in the middle of a variable data run you get a jam, or you get something that doesn't come out good, an unusable sheet, and it's obviously it's variable? How do you track that?
It depends on a couple of things. First of all, here's just a nice,
Yep.
The thing is, it has this glittery foil
Yep.
on there as well, and it's all done in one pass.
Yeah.
And then each name is different and has a different length. So the names that are set up have to have the white outline on them that expands with the print, so that the little dots don't run into it. And then the dots are a common part of the whole thing. And it's all thrown together in pre-press in the software and generated as each PDF with each name. But then if it's a postcard that's going to have an address here, which this was just done for a sample reason.
Right.
So we omitted that, but these all had addresses on the back that had to match the front.
Yeah.
So it was 2 consecutive VDP jobs, one that went through the iridescence and then made its way over here.
Yeah.
And then we had to make sure that the names matched the back, and then it's in pre-sort standard order.
Right.
So then they have to go in all of the mail trays correctly and in the correct order. They're going to have the tray and the sheet number in order of where it appears in the tray in the address. So you've got to keep all that in order. You can't get that out of order, because if you mess that up, then the post office starts charging you additional to fix it, and our customers don't like that.
I think fundamentally everybody's afraid of one thing happening. I could be wrong. Jacob, tell me if I'm wrong on this at all. Is that if I'm printing and all of a sudden I get a jam, and everything I'm printing on has already been variable data printed on the back, like you said, the addresses have already been printed. I'm afraid that now when I start back up the job, making sure that I'm putting the right file on top of the right file, and then making sure I catch up the one that got lost. So I mean, is there any tips and tricks you have around that, or you just gotta be extra vigilant and do it by hand? Matt.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were asking Jacob. So again, if it's a pre-sort standard, everything just kind of gets finished with a little sheet that shows that there's a missing piece there.
Okay.
And then we have to go through, they have to go back to the digital machine, re-output the piece, and then I just load it, and with the barcode, it knows which information to put on the front. That part's easy. Okay. It's just making sure you keep everything in order. If nothing has to stay in order, if it's not a pre-sort standard mailing, like these were just certificates.
Yeah.
There was no addressing. It was just the variable data.
All day long. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just the name was the variable data. So something like that, you just take the bad ones and throw them in a stack in the end. They look up the names, they reprint the names. They usually do a separate layout. Like if I have 5 or 10 bad ones that jammed, or just the coverage wasn't right, something was wrong with it.
Right.
Just didn't meet standards. Then I throw them in a pile, they look them up, they generate in pre-press a new job with just those names. They'll single them out of they go back to square one. They single them back out of the database, the Excel spreadsheet, and then create a new mini job, send that to the digital press, and then send it back over here. So it's like starting over again, but
Sure.
it's easier, and it keeps you from having to think too much about, oh, I don't know, I have to go to this range and here, and then you're outputting the wrong range, and then you've got the wrong set of names
Dude.
and all that crap. If you got more than two, they usually go back and create a whole new job for it.
Yeah.
But ideally, if I'm good enough, and if we're all lucky and the planets are all in alignment and the stars are shining to a certain amount and the Earth is rotating at the correct rate, then everything will come out okay. And we'll have sometimes we'll have absolutely zero redos.
Yeah. That's good.
Just give
That's
me
good.
10, 15 sheets to burn at the beginning, so I get all my settings tweaked in, and then I load the stack and run it, and we're good to go.
Excellent. Very good advice, Matt. Jacob, Carlo, do any of you have any questions that you want to talk about? It could be related to variable data or just operation period.
Hi, everybody. Well, actually, regarding variable data, what I have seen, I think that the approach is sometimes a little bit tricky. You need to use this separate read instead of just sending the file over. But what I have seen actually quite struggling is how they prepare the data for it. I think that's a huge question that maybe everybody has, is how to prepare your Excel sheet or your CSV file. What is the best approach on that? Because sometimes the end user will not know that exactly how to prepare that. So they will just sending you an Excel sheet, and you have to prepare that properly and accordingly to actually feed what the machine requires, how the data has to be ordered, and how to process it. So I think that could be some enlightening part to understand a little bit more how to prepare that side.
Yeah. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Well,
Right.
Yeah, and spreadsheets have always been the sore spot, because that's where it all begins. If you don't have everything in the right columns, and if you're not pulling the stuff from the right column, then you've got a messed up job. But I know internally in pre-press, we have one person, one girl that sits back there. She handles all of our mailing databases. That's what she specializes in. So, and she works with Mail Manager to get everything NCOA cast-coded on all that stuff for all of the mailing pieces that we do here. So it's just another little piece of the job that she does to clean up those spreadsheets. So we're fortunate to have that internally.
Nice. Listen, just a little heads up. I was just speaking with somebody from the post office recently, and the new Irresistible campaign, which I think is running until end of July. If you put any embellishments on any digital or any mailing piece, direct mail piece, they're now giving you 5% discount rebate on the mailing, which is amazing. 5% of postage. So those of you who are doing mailing, keep an eye on that. Go check out the Irresistible campaign. There's definitely some money to be made. All right, very cool. Very nice. Well, I think that's it for today, gentlemen. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or any ideas, Jacob, as an operator who's been on the machine for a year? What do you think would be a cool topic for us to address next month?
What would be the ones you guys have already done?
Well, again, I think everybody keeps coming back to which one, Matt?
Uncoded stock is a big one.
Yeah. I think uncoded, and then maybe we do one on the types of foils that people are using, or we can talk about
foiling issues in general, because
I think the foil one would be cool. I'm actually we're still trying to find out how to get any kind of specialty foils, stuff like that.
Okay, very cool. Good topic.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
Actually, maybe how to get rid. Sometimes you get with some foils,
you
get that crispy effect on the edges that customers commonly do not like. But it's variable, right? It's in some of the sheets it comes out, in some others not. It definitely depends on some adjustments there.
Yeah.
But
and the ink.
approach.
Right. The dyne level has a lot to do with how clean
That's
that
a
will pick
lot.
up.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, you were telling us what were you doing, and the lines were coming out insanely clean. What was the material that we talked about yesterday? I think you're doing vinyl.
Yeah, it was just a clear vinyl sheet, and they're mainly for like business cards, doing clear business cards. And yeah, everything I've done on those, it's just the varnish stays exactly where you want it to be, and
Yeah.
foil is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That video we just posted, Kevin, with that Scotch Cal vinyl, and that's meant to be applied to walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the big what were those? They put all the sports figures up and they cut them out and you put them on their wall. There was
The fat heads.
Fat heads, yeah, it's the same material.
Yeah.
Same material. So it's vinyl, and it just, I can't believe how well it takes varnish and foil. It's the cleanest stuff I've ever seen.
Dude, that's a great idea. Imagine like a football with a football texture on a fat head. I mean, that would, or a basketball or a soccer ball. Like, yeah, you can do some cool stuff, man.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
And as I suggested in the video, you could use it for more than just a wall.
Yeah.
You could wrap a whole box with it, or wrap a container with it.
100%. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks again for everybody's time. I look forward to seeing you all next month. And tell all your operator friends to come join us so that we get a nice merry bunch to go.
Yeah, the more the merrier, the more we can get. I'm sad to see that the ones that normally join us aren't here today.
Yeah, they couldn't make it. And Jacob, if you ever have any questions on how to do something, this community is for you. So just drop in and ask some comments. You know, you have a forum, explore the forum a little bit and just ask questions, and one of us will jump on or to help you out, man. We're all in this together, right?
Yeah, we're always asking questions of each other, and I don't have all the answers either. Sometimes I go and ask Adam, and he's more of a newbie than I am. But hey, Adam, what was your experience with this? Tell me what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, listen, have a wonderful rest of the day, everybody, and we will see you guys next month for the May operators meeting. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.